and yet I had no change of identity, then I look up the word Jesse, and it means Jehovah. It means the Lord. It means a self-existent being. That's what the word Jesse means. And Jesse is the father of David. And suddenly I am aware memory has returned. So the only thing that you gave up in your descent into this world was memory, and completely forgot who you are, that you may experience death and not pretend that you are man. You could not actually accomplish the adventure if you pretended. An actor steps up on the stage and he plays his part, but he knows after that curtain comes down and the final curtain comes down, he is going to go home to his lovely home, if he has a lovely home. If he's a great star who has made money, he goes home to a fabulous home. But that's not the story. You have to completely forget that you are God to become man. And you have completely forgotten that you are God in becoming man. But all day long you call upon his name, and his name is your name. You say, I am. So who are you? And before you answer anything, you say, well, I am. And then you say, John so-and-so. I am Dr. so-and-so. But you precede it with, I am, and that's God's name. But you don't know who you are until the very last of the journey. And that last is when his son comes into your world. And his son is your son. And then memory returns. And now you know that every child born of woman is the same being. It's God buried there. And everyone is going to have the identical son, not another David. And therefore we are one, as told us in Scripture. I dwell in them, and they dwell in me, and we are one. So you are now different, and you call yourself by another name. You will not lose your identity, and yet you and I are one, because we have the same Son. Together, collectively, we all form the Father. And the Father only has the Son, and that Son is David. So you will not lose your identity, but you and I are one. Having the same Son, we are the same Father. So the Father is a compound unity. The word is Elohim, one made up of others. And the others, we are the others. And the others are called in Scripture the sons of God. So the sons came down, but the sons formed the Father. Now we are awakening individually as God the Father. That's raising us to a higher level than we were when we descended. That is the adventure. And God is in this adventure. He's not on the outside of it. He is in it. And he's in it where? He's buried. He's buried in his holy sepulchre, the Holy of Holies. And that is your skull. That's where God is buried. Buried in his tomb. And so naturally it is empty when they find it. So this world is a copy. It's a shadow world. Make everything according to the pattern which was shown you on the mountain. And so it has to be perfect. So here at the very end, you see the Son, and the Son reveals the Father. Everyone in this world is going to have that experience. I promise you, because I know it happened to me so suddenly, so unexpectedly. It's going to happen to everyone. Not one can fail. So here, in these closing nights, I thought I was going to be tired altogether and show you the important things of Scripture. That the Old Testament is a recorded shadowland. I call it an adumbration, a foreshadowing, in a not altogether conclusive or immediately evident way. But when it happens, then the whole thing unfolds within you. As we are told, this is the God who said, let light shine out of darkness, who has shone into our hearts and given us the very light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. Christ is David. Here is the glory in the face of Christ. So when Browning brings it out in his beautiful poem, and he has Christ speak to sleeping God, called in the scripture Saul. And Saul is simply God sung to sleep, and he is called a mad person. Well, if he's sung to sleep, he has strange dreams. And David stands before Saul, and he said, O Saul, a face like my face shall receive thee. A man like unto me thou shalt love, and be loved by forever. A hand like this hand shall throw open the gates of new life to thee. Then he stands before him, and he says, see the Christ stand. This is Browning's poem. When David, and it was all inspired by the 16th and 17th chapters of the first book of Samuel. And David stands before the demented king and reveals who he is, but the king could not see it. When he stands before you, you'll know it. You'll be completely awake, and you'll know that you are God the Father. You could have all the children of the world in this world of death. It makes no difference. You could be barren, or you could have many. It's marvelous if you are a father or a mother, but you are destined to have the Son. And the Son is only the resultant state. When you've played all the parts, you too will say, I have finished the work thou gavest me to do. Now return unto me the glory that was mine, the glory that I had with thee before that the world was. He's not asking for anything else other than the return of that glory, and God are synonymous terms in Scripture. Return my Godhead. I gave it up. I gave up my memory to become man. And now return it all unto me. And then you will say, I have finished the race. I have fought the good fight. I have kept the faith. Henceforth is laid up for me the crown of righteousness. And everyone will be crowned with righteousness. And what is righteousness? In Scripture, when man completes the condition imposed upon him by a relationship, he is accounted righteous. And that relationship is Father-Son. The minute it happens to you, you are the righteous being. And therefore you wear the crown of righteousness. No mortal eye can see it, but it is seen. It's only the crown. It's not a crown. And Paul used these words in his letter to Timothy. He spoke of the crown, not an indefinite article, but the definite one. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness. He finished it. For he said, now I bear on my body the mark of Jesus. And one thinks it means the great marks that the world would paint on a picture. No. The marks you have done are the stories I have told you concerning how it unfolds within you. First, you awaken. Then you come out, and you are born from above. Then you discover the Son, who reveals you as God the Father.